Hello, this is Sarah from Furling Sky by Microfarm, and I'm going to do a quick video today on how to do just some basic grooming for your French Angora rabbit. This here is number 1, so this is the firstborn in Clementine's litter. This is a ruby-eyed white buck, so you can see him here. And all the boys just got a little playtime outside in our play area, so he's pretty dirty right now. So this is a good opportunity for me to show you just how to basically groom your rabbit. So he is 9 weeks old right now, which means he does have a little bit of a coat on him. It's about, I'd say about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches long. And I can see here some mats behind his ears. And the places that always get mats are right behind the ears, you know, in between kind of. Also right above their tails, where the tail meets kind of their back, and right here. This is his tail right here. And also on their sides. They get a lot of mats on their sides if they go ungroomed for a while. So I have some basic tools here. This is actually a comb for dreadlocks, and you can get these at a beauty supply store. The actual brushes that are for long-haired dogs or rabbits, they aren't, the tongs aren't as close together, the tines aren't as close together, and also they tend to spin, and that's not good. You want a nice, stiff, close together comb. So the first thing you're going to do is you're just going to go through the coat and try and get as many leaves if they've just gone to play, or usually it'll snag on mats, so that's when you know you have some mats. Now I already know I have them behind the ears there, so we'll come back to that. But I always comb down and out on the sides of the coat. That way I know there's nothing in there. And these are, you know, fairly blunt. They're like a rounded tip, so you don't have to worry about touching the skin and pulling out. It's better to do that way you know that there's no mats down close to the skin. So I'm going to get his back / butt here. And I can see some leaves back there. Now since this particular rabbit is 9 weeks old, he hasn't been groomed a whole lot, so he's still getting used to it. I put a towel down on my grooming table, which is actually just an old kitchen island thing. So if you see him kind of jumping around, it's just because he's not quite used to it yet. The older they get, the more you groom them, the better used to grooming that they get, and the stiller they are. Okay, so I've just gone through, and you can see leaf debris and all kinds of stuff in there. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the mats out. And I can't do it very well while I'm holding a camera here, but you're just going to basically, you don't want to pull them out, but you want to kind of pull them apart with your fingers, almost like you're trying to untie a really tough knot. And you can usually get them out that way. If you can't get them out, I'm going to pull this knot up here so you can see. You're just going to take some scissors and clip straight down the middle. Make sure you don't get anywhere near their skin. Rabbits have paper thin skin, so if you cut, I mean, they're going to bleed quite a bit. So you can cut down the center and then try and pull it apart, and that usually helps. If it seems hopeless, go ahead and just cut it straight out. It's not going to hurt anything if you cut straight out. Just, again, make sure you're nowhere near the skin. It helps if you have one hand on the rabbit so they don't jump. So get all those mats out behind their ears and check behind their tail here. They always get right here above the tail and also on the two sides. I've noticed that when you get mats on the two sides, if you don't take care of them right away, the mats can go all the way to the tailbone, and then it's very difficult to get out. So other than those two tools, Cammie's helping me. I also have this wire bristle brush. It's more for as a finishing tool than anything else. So you can kind of fluff up their coat a little bit by using this, but it's not a real true grooming tool. The other thing you want to check with your rabbit when you groom them, and I recommend grooming at least once a week. If you have a very manageable rabbit, 2 or 3 is not unreasonable either. So this rabbit, you want to make sure that their eyes are clear. They don't have goop in their eyes. You want to check their nose. These boys get a little messy, so they always seem to have some pellets in their nose, pellet dust in their nose, because they're just ravenous when I feed them. But as long as you make sure, if they have goop around their nose like this guy does, you can just kind of wipe it off. Make sure that their nose isn't running. If they have a runny nose, they most likely have some sort of bacterial infection or virus, and that is not a good thing. You could take them to a vet, but most cases of snuffles, or has a technical name that I can't remember off the top of my head, if they have like a snotty nose or discharge coming out of their nose and they wipe it on their paws and stuff, that's very serious and you want to isolate them from your other rabbits. So check to make sure they have a clear nose, clear eyes, and then you want to check in their ears. These rabbits have just been tattooed, so you have to forgive the black smudges in here. But you want to check inside their ears. If they have any sort of flaking or it looks crusty in there, they might have ear mites. You want to treat that with oil or some sort of medication that you can get from a veterinarian. Other than that, you want to, it's ideal that you're able to flip your rabbit. So you basically hold the scruff of their neck here, not their ears. I'm just grabbing the ears because they're right there. The scruff of the rabbit, almost like a cat would have. And then you push under their butt and flip them over onto their belly. And then you can check their belly. And again, with their belly, you're just checking for mats. You're checking to make sure they don't have what I call poopy butt. You know, you want to make sure that they're nice and clean in their undercarriage area. If they are dirty under there, you want to make sure and brush or clip as much of it out. It's very hard to wash Angoras. You can do it with a little bit of cornstarch if they have stained feet, which are really obvious with the white rabbits. He has a little bit of stained feet here. You can brush it out, you know, scrub in a little cornstarch and then brush it out. And that will usually take care of the stained feet. But again, if they have poopy butt, you're just going to want to clip as much of it out and maybe put them on just hay or birdseed for a couple days, a day or two to clear that up. It usually means that you're giving them too many greens or they're not used to it. So you need to be careful with that. Other than that, this rabbit isn't quite big enough for me to clip his nails yet because he is 9 weeks, but basically you just find their little nail there. And let's see how close I can get. I don't know if you can see, but the white part there's the nail, and the pink part is the quick. You do not want to cut that pink part because they will bleed profusely. So if you can see that, the pink is on this end, and the white is on this end. You only clip the white. I'd give it a good buffer between the white and the pink. Colored rabbits, it's usually, like if you have a brown rabbit, it's usually light brown nail and dark brown quick. So get used to seeing that because rabbit toenails are pretty hard to clip. I usually only get to 1 foot, maybe 2 feet a day, and then I just come back the next day and do the other 2 feet. They don't seem to be very tolerant of nail clipping. But other than that, oh, and here is my nail clipper. It's basically a large dog nail clipper, and it's like that cigar cutter type that cuts like that. I've had scissors before, the nail clipping scissors, and they seem just really chintzy to me, so I got the big cigar clippers. So I have the bristle brush, the scissors, the nail clippers, and the dreadlock comb, or just a stiff, yep, Daddy's home, or a stiff bristled comb would be perfect. It doesn't have to be metal, but metal obviously is going to last you a lot longer.